Good morning, students. This is going to be our first set of lessons. We're going to do a couple lessons in a row that are all about natural resources in Canada. We're going to be looking at lesson two in our Black workbook, and I'm going to be talking about fossil fuels for this lesson. So, what are fossil fuels? Well, they can be a variety of different things. Primarily, they are very long ago dead animals or dead things that have been compressed over time and sort of broken down into um, more simple sort of features. So you can think about there's a couple different types of fossil fuels. There's oils, um, and there's natural gas, and there's coal, and there's other sorts of things like that. We're talking about primarily. We're going to focus on oil and coal um, as our two big points in what exists in Canada and the significance of it. So when we're talking about natural gases, or when we're talking about fossil fuels, and specifically referencing oil, what's the purpose of oil? So oil is something that's used a lot in gas for your cars and stuff like that, and for lawnmowers and other sorts of instruments. Diesel and jet fuel; those are kind of like the three main purposes. Um, in Canada, we are the third largest distributor of oil. And the most amount of oil resources found in the world. Most of it comes from the Western Canada, primarily, and we have a significant amount of oil that we deal with every day. So every day, we do about 4.7 million barrels of oil is taken from the ground and is begun to refine over time, which is a lot. Um, it is a massive, massive export for us. What we do a lot of the time is we gather the oils from western parts of Canada, and then we send it down to USA where they have refineries, and then they send it back to us, and then we can put it into our cars and use it for different sort of features. But yeah, it's a natural resource that Canada has a lot of, and it's actually allowed us to become quite a wealthy nation. As we go through this whole entire sort of talking about natural resources in Canada, you're going to notice that Canada is just filled with natural resources. Like we're very natural resource rich country. One of the benefits of being in Canada is that we are such a broad country. We have such a massive amount of land um, that allows for us to be able to harvest and farm and sort of gather these resources without massive, massive negative impacts on the local communities. Now, that's not always true. We can go into oil sands, which we'll probably talk about later, more about the idea of sustainability and environmentally friendly and these sorts of things. Um, but as a whole, Canada is a very large region where you can sort of do things with the land that you previously couldn't because if you have a lot of people living there. Now, there are some negative impacts, obviously, to First Nations people, the First Nation communities that live in those distant, sort of remote lands, um, but not always. So we're going to focus on we're going to keep it simple. We're talking about fossil fuels right now. Um, and we want to talk about, yeah, so oil is used for diesel and gas and those sorts of things. We have a massive amount of exporting. We also use natural gas, which is primarily used for heating, cooking, and transportation. You'll see some occasional public buses that are only using natural gas. A lot of our heating in our houses and stuff like that uses natural gas. And then, yeah, just general cooking. You primarily find natural gas in BC and Alberta. That's your most two common places to find it. And then our last one that we're going to talk about that's a natural resource, um, and it's also a fossil fuel, is coal. Coal, it's two purposes. It's slowly getting phased out too because coal burns very. It's a dirty thing that burns, so it releases a lot of toxins into the air and stuff like that, and it has lots of, or it can have negative consequences to the environment around it. But it's primarily used with steel workers or steel makers, and then also it generates power. So those are primary purposes of coal, and 90% of it's found in Western Canada as well, and then also a small contingency in Nova Scotia. Now, if you look at this map that I have in front of us, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of different colors here. And I want to drop down this legend and show you what the different colors mean. So we have some different things over here, but the one that we want to look at is mainly sedimentary rocks. So we find the majority of fossil fuels and stuff like that in sedimentary rocks that don't have a lot of, that have been sitting for a very long time. And have essentially compressed it down to where we have these abilities to find fossil fuels. And you'll see that the majority of the mainly sedimentary rocks is pretty much Western Canada. We have some in Saskatchewan, we have Manitoba, we have Alberta, or sorry, Manitoba. Saskatchewan, Alberta, and then sort of the northeastern part of BC. But that's primarily where we get a lot of our fossil fuels and natural gases. You do have hot regions like Fort McMurray and stuff like that, where you'll find in different spots around here. But yeah, that's where we primarily find it. Now, all this is to say, on the last page of your lesson 2, you will see a map of Canada. And with the information that I'm giving you now and this map, which I'll be sharing on the document, the assignments page, I would like you to, using the legend, mark down where you would primarily find fossil fuels. So this map right here is a pretty good indicator of that. Um, that's all I have for you now, and I will be posting a couple more of these videos later on in the next couple days. So please complete the very first part of your activity, which is following the rules or the map assignment and marking down the legend where you would find fossil fuels in Canada.